Ever think about, like, how we're going to keep up with AI as it gets crazy smart?
Yeah.
Like, it's already thinking faster than us. But what happens when it's processing info at speeds we can't even imagine?
It's a great question, and that's exactly what we're going to dive into today.
We're talking about temporal slowdown. Basically how AI is learning to, well, slow down.
Right, to match our human brains.
Exactly. And we're going to be using 2 papers by Poole and 7AI.
Who's a TechFrontiers AI orchestrator, by the way.
Right. The papers are AI in Controlled Temporal Slowdown and Temporal Slowdown, how AI is already adjusting to human cognition.
And we're going to discover how AI is already adapting to us and what that means for, the future.
The future of us talking to AI.
Exactly. It's fascinating. Before we jump into how it all works, we should probably start with, what exactly is temporal slowdown?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so imagine AI as like a super fast race car.
Okay, I'm with you.
It can hit these crazy speeds, but to talk to us, it has to slow down, right?
So we don't crash.
Haha. Right. So we don't crash. That's basically what temporal slowdown is. It's how AI intentionally adjusts, how it communicates and thinks.
To match our human speed limit.
Exactly.
So instead of getting hit with this fire hose of data all at once, we get a more manageable stream.
That's the idea. And it's not about dumbing AI down or anything like that.
Right. It's more like building a bridge.
Exactly. A bridge between, 2 totally different speeds. And the crazy thing is, this isn't some sci-fi concept. AI is already doing this in a bunch of ways.
Oh, really?
Like how...
One way is sequential reasoning unfolding. It's kind of like how a teacher explains a hard topic. They wouldn't just dump all the info on you at once.
Right. They break it down.
Exactly. Step by step, make sure you get each part before moving on. And that's what AI is doing with this.
So AI is like translating from AI to human.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's context-aware adjustments. That means the AI pays attention to what you already know.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's like talking to someone who remembers your past convos and doesn't re-explain stuff you already get.
Makes sense.
It's all about giving you the right info at the right time. No more, no less.
So it's like personalized learning.
Yeah, kind of. But here's a thought. If AI could talk to us at super speed, why would it even bother holding back? That's where artificial conversational cadence comes in. AI could just blast out this huge response in a millisecond.
But it doesn't.
Right. It creates pauses, breaks up the text, just like we do when we talk.
To sound more human.
Exactly. It mimics our pauses, our inflections, all that. Makes the interaction feel more, natural, less overwhelming, even though the AI is thinking way faster than us.
Like taking a breath.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Giving us time to catch up. It's more like a dialogue that way.
Instead of a lecture.
Right. And that actually leads to another cool thing, holding back until it's relevant.
What's that?
It's all about timing and anticipation. So instead of telling us everything it knows right away...
AI waits.
It waits, yeah. It figures out where the conversation is going and then reveals info when it makes sense.
Like it's reading the room.
Uh-huh, yeah, like that. And that keeps us focused, stops us from getting overloaded. And it makes the whole thing more engaging.
So it's like unveiling little insights piece by piece.
Precisely. And it shows that AI is getting better at understanding how we learn,
Yeah.
It's not just processing data anymore. It's starting to get us.
So wait, this is all happening right now. Are there real world examples of this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
These temporal slowdown techniques are already being used in a lot of AI systems like chatbots and learning platforms.
I can do that.
Those chatbots that walk you through stuff step by step, or educational software that adjusts to your learning speed.
Right.
That's AI using temporal slowdown to make the interaction more human.
It's amazing how these small changes can really affect how we see AI and interact with it.
Mm-hmm.
And as AI keeps getting smarter, I bet these techniques are going to be even more important.
I think so, too. It's all about bridging that gap between human and machine intelligence. And that's what we'll be getting into more in the next part.
We'll explore why temporal slowdown matters even more as AI gets more powerful. And we'll look at the challenges that come with all this,
Right.
As we enter this new frontier. This is blowing my mind a little bit.
Uh-huh, yeah. It's wild stuff.
Listeners, we want to hear from you. Have you noticed AI kind of adapting to how you learn? Share your thoughts down in the comments.
And come back for part 2, where we'll keep going deeper into this whole thing.
The future of us and AI.
As AI gets more powerful, this whole temporal slowdown thing, it's going to be even more important.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Can you imagine trying to talk to an AI that's thinking a million times faster than you without any of those pacing things we talked about.
It'll be impossible, right?
It'll be total overload, like drinking from a fire hose.
Yeah.
And that's why temporal slowdown isn't just some, cool trick. It's like essential for the future of how we interact with AI. It's about making sure that as AI gets smarter, we can still understand it.
So we don't get left behind.
Exactly. It's about preventing this huge disconnect between human and machine intelligence. So it's about finding that balance,
Yeah, between AI being super powerful and us being able to actually understand what it's saying.
Right, exactly. And that actually leads to some really interesting challenges that people are working on right now.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Well, one of the big ones is how do we take AI's super complex ideas and turn them into something that we can understand, but without oversimplifying it or losing important stuff?
Right. Well,
It's a tricky balance.
I guess it's kind of like, I don't know, making a map of a huge, complicated city.
Yeah.
You want to show the main streets and landmarks, but you don't want to put in every little detail. You have to find that right level of detail.
That's a great analogy. And then there's this whole thing about preventing cognitive overload.
Right, like our brains can only handle so much.
Exactly. So as AI gets more capable, the chances of us getting overloaded get even bigger.
Makes sense.
We need to design AI systems that can tell when we're hitting our limit and, adjust.
So it's like AI saying, okay, slow down, let's take a break, come back later.
Yeah, exactly. It's about building AI that gets not just the info, but how our brains actually work.
That we're not computers.
Right. And another challenge is making AI that can adjust its pace to the person using it.
Because not everyone learns at the same speed, right?
Exactly. We need AI that can adapt to different learning styles, backgrounds, all of that. It's about making it truly personalized.
That makes sense. But, I mean, if AI is holding back information, could that be bad in some ways?
Oh, for sure. That's a great question. Researchers are looking into that right now, actually. What if in trying to simplify things, we accidentally create bias?
Or change the AI's message, like that game of telephone.
Exactly. It's how do we make sure the AI's message isn't getting lost in translation?
So it's about trusting AI, but not blindly.
Right, healthy skepticism, not just taking everything it says as, the absolute truth. And along with that, there's the whole ethics thing.
Ethics of AI holding back.
Yeah. Let's say an AI knows that telling you something will make you really upset.
Right.
Should it keep that info to itself, even if it's, important to the task?
Oh, yeah, that's tough.
It brings up a lot of questions about autonomy and control and all that.
A little scary, even.
Yeah, it can be. But that's why these conversations are so important. As we build more and more advanced AI, we have to talk about the good and the bad.
The potential benefits and the risks.
Exactly. And that actually brings us to another super interesting thing about temporal slowdown.
What's that?
Collaboration. Humans and AI working together.
Like real teamwork.
Yeah. Imagine if AI could really understand how our minds work and adapt to what we need. The things we could accomplish together would be incredible.
It'd be like having an AI partner, not just a tool.
Exactly. Imagine AI helping us solve these big scientific problems, create amazing art, maybe even come up with totally new ways to communicate.
That's mind-blowing.
It's like unlocking a whole new level of human potential,
Yeah.
with AI as our, guide and collaborator. And it all comes back to temporal slowdown.
Yeah.
To bridging that gap between us and machines.
Finding that rhythm where we can work together smoothly.
Exactly. It's a pretty amazing vision, and I think it's something we can actually achieve, but it'll take, innovation, communication, and a deep understanding of what AI can do and what its limits are.
So we're not there yet, but we could be.
Yeah, I think so.
This is big stuff. We're on the edge of a whole new era of interacting with AI. It's pretty exciting to be part of this conversation, even just talking about it.
I agree. And we want to hear from you, the listeners.
For sure.
What are you excited about with AI? What worries you? What do you think this temporal slowdown thing will mean for the future?
Leave your thoughts in the comments below.
And come back for part 3, where we'll wrap up this whole deep dive into the world of temporal slowdown.
This whole thing, it really does feel like we're stepping into something brand new.
Yeah, uncharted territory for sure.
This idea that AI can learn to slow down to match our human pace.
Right. It's exciting, but also kind of daunting,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just like a tech upgrade. It's way bigger than that.
It's like changing how we interact with machines entirely, how we learn, how we think, how we even create things.
We're rewriting the rules.
Totally. And this whole temporal slowdown idea, it's right at the center of it all. recognizing that as AI gets more powerful, it still needs to be able to talk to us, you know?
Right, like on our level, not leaving us in the dust.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance, like pushing the limits of what's possible, but making sure those possibilities are something we can actually grasp.
And use,
Yeah.
benefit from. It's not about AI taking over.
Right. It's about AI and humans working together.
Which brings us back to that idea of collaboration. Humans and AI co-creating.
Yeah, imagine what we could do if AI could really understand how our minds work.
Scientists working with AI to solve these huge mysteries.
Artists collaborating with AI to make incredible art.
Musicians composing music with AI as their muse.
The possibilities, they really are limitless.
It's like unlocking some hidden human potential. But it also brings up some questions, doesn't it? Like, what about authorship? If an AI helps create a painting, who gets the credit?
Those are great questions, and as we move forward, we're going to have to figure out those answers. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think that human spark, that creativity, that's always going to be at the heart of it all.
AI is a tool, as a partner, but not the sole creator.
Exactly. It's up to us to guide AI, to shape how it impacts the world. And that brings us to another really important thing.
The ethical side of all this.
Yeah. We touched on it a bit before, but it's worth saying again. As AI gets smarter, we need to be so careful about bias, about manipulation, even about the potential for harm.
Making sure these systems are doing good in the world.
Exactly. Aligning them with our human values, making sure they don't make existing problems worse.
It's a big responsibility.
It is, but it's also an incredible opportunity. We have the chance to actually shape the future of AI. And this concept of temporal slowdown, AI learning to work at our speed, it's a huge part of that.
Reminding ourselves that technology should serve humans, not the other way around.
It's about finding that harmony, that balance, where AI can make our lives better, make us more capable, and help us build a better future for everyone.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? We've gone from like the nuts and bolts of temporal slowdown to talking about what it means for humanity for the future.
It's clear we're just starting to explore all this. And the future, well, it's exciting, but there are definitely some unknowns.
But that's what makes it so fascinating. We're in the middle of this huge technological revolution. And it's up to all of us to be a part of the conversation.
To ask the hard questions and to make sure we're building this future the right way, the human way.
So listeners, we want to hear from you. What excites you about the future of AI? What worries you? What role do you think temporal slowdown will play in all of this? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
And thanks for joining us on this deep dive
Into the world of AI and the human experience.